Hi, I'm Ginger Riddle, and I am here with Jackie Kennedy. And Jackie is running for Lansing School Board. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, Ginger. Thanks for interviewing me.
You're welcome. Tell us why you're running and what you hope to accomplish.
Okay, so I'm running. It's not something I ever anticipated doing, but my kids are both out of Lansing schools now. Um, and I've been involved in Lansing schools as long as we've been here for 20 years. So I see this as a good way to give back. And I've heard people say, why don't we have younger people running, people with younger kids in the schools? And I think part of it is because we've already experienced everything. We've been through all the schools. So I feel like I'm really familiar with how our schools run from a parent's perspective. So I'm interested in seeing how it works kind of behind the scenes as the board member. So I'm running also. I We've got some extreme behavior on our board, and I'd like to see school board be a little less dramatic. So I'm hoping to bring some calm um, back to board proceedings.
What is your vision for the future of our schools, and how would you help the district adapt to changing community needs and growth and demographic shifts?
Oh, that's a good question. Growth is a tough one because we've got people who really want to see us grow and people who would like to see us stay kind of smaller. And I think that's part of the strength of Lansing is that we've got both of those things going. Usually your strength and your weakness can be related. Um, I would love to see us grow a little more. And I know strong schools support that. People move to areas based on school districts. So I'd love to see us, when we moved here, we chose Lansing because of the schools. And I'd like to make sure that we continue to be a place that people seek out because of our good education system.
Okay. What criteria process should be used to make decisions about curriculum and supporting materials?
Well, I am not an expert on curriculum, and I know that our teachers and our we have a lot of teachers in Lansing who have gone beyond their bachelor's degree. Um, they would be the ones that I would look to for choices in curriculum. I know the board approves that, but I'm not in a position to choose curriculum. I would hope that our professionals who understand their subject matter, who understand how children learn, all children, I know how my kids learned, but how all of our kids learn, that they would be the ones determining what works well, what they can teach well, and what our children can digest well. How kids would be measured on progress with curriculum, and then as a board, we would be just a part of the equation approving the curriculum. Of course, we would need to review curriculum and then as a group decide if what the teachers have selected aligns with what the values of our community are.
How should the district address the needs of students from diverse backgrounds with disabilities or from low-income families?
Well, I think our district does a good job of that. I think we have to consider that kids come from different areas. I know even when we were going through COVID and kids were learning from home, not everybody has access to high-speed internet, so they were having to make changes in how kids received their information at home. It's always got to be a conversation. We can't decide what's best for everyone. We need to include our families that may be lower income. We need to include our families that have children with disabilities in the conversation of what they need, and then consider that as we make our choices for what goes on with the school.
Okay. How will you engage with students, parents, teachers, and community members to inform your decisions?
One thing that I really believe has been a positive since probably COVID, the past 4 years, is that parents are more engaged in what goes on with the schools, for better or for worse. Parents are attending the meetings, whether in person or watching on YouTube. They have access to board member emails. When my kids were little, I didn't understand the difference between the Board of Education and the superintendent, what the hierarchy was there. I think parents understand that a little more. I would like to not play everything out on social media, but maybe keep a presence. I've seen in looking at how other campaigns have worked, how other board members work, that some people will have like office hours. They'll set up in the library, and then if someone has a concern, they can come talk to a board member. Um, I would want to talk to parents. I would want them to let me know what they think is important because once I'm elected, if I'm elected, once I'm elected, I still have to represent the needs of the entire community. And I only know what those needs are if community members are talking to me.
Okay. Well, what do you see as the top three challenges facing the school district, and how would you address those?
Um, Number one, I think, is deferred maintenance, our budget. And the best way we can do that is listening to our superintendent. As I recall, he was one of the reasons he was selected is he was he was really good at taking a district that was in a little bit of disarray and then helping build it back. And I've seen him do some good things, make some good choices, and I would hope that I would support any measures to do that. Part of the fiscal responsibility part is making sure we do maintain what we've got. Um, and not saying, well, the last folks didn't take care of it, so we're not going to take care of it either. We have to take care of the buildings, the facilities that we have. Another concern would be safety. And I think any school board member, any school board candidate would say that safety is important between the actual safety of the building or kids feeling safe within their classrooms, free from bullying, teachers feeling safe within their classrooms, free from distractions of behavior. And I think that's an issue that we've got to address, keep addressing, continue focusing on. I'd also like to see us work on more options for CTE, the coursework that kids can get before they leave. I know kids that graduate high school and they're well on their way to certification in trades, and I'd love to see more kids have that opportunity. I feel like trades are talked about more than they were when I was going through school, and I love that. So just having pathways for everyone is a big um, goal of mine.
Okay. Are there experiences or qualifications that make you well suited to serve on the school board?
Well, I love serving on in a group. I love being part of a decision-making process. I feel like one of my strengths is taking ideas I have, letting other people build onto them, or that I'm good at listening to an idea and maybe offering suggestions to make it better. So board work, I way prefer working in a group than I do as an individual. Like I said, I've spent 20 years volunteering in our schools. I've served on our site councils at the elementary and middle school. I've served on Booster Club for band. Let's see, I always forget everything that I've done. I volunteered with the PTA. I worked with Challenge Day. I've worked with Fine Arts Fair. So I feel like I'm very familiar with how our schools work. And I think I would bring a lot with all that experience that I've had.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners?
No, I think that's about it. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to talk about some of these important issues.
Thanks again.
Yeah.